Hey gang, hope you guys are doing well. I got a little bonus upload for you today. I'm going to be talking about the 4 new augments coming out in Jade Shadow's Constellations pretty soon here, about a week. It's for Dante, Noctua, Koumei on Koumei, Reroute on Nokko, and just a passive, I guess, for Temple, which is going to be really cool. I'm going to talk about what they do real quickly and then do a little bit of yapping, but the video is going to be chaptered, so you can just quickly, easily, if you just want the information on them and what they do, you can skip around, but I will be running my mouth a little bit because I think they take up like a pretty interesting design space. I'm going to talk about kind of what builds they might fit in, what builds they might not fit in, how they'll be strong. The numbers aren't out for a lot of them, but I'm very curious to see what's going to be going on here, and I'm sure you guys are curious too. So thank you for the subs, likes, hype, support in the last video. Appreciate you guys tons, love you lots, and let's get started. So I am ranking these in order how interesting and strong I think they're going to be, and so that starts us with Dante's Noctua Swarm. The alternate fire of Noctua releases Peregrines, which are little birds that Pageflight has. I'm assuming they're not going to apply the debuffs, and basically they're going to swarm the same way that the Pageflight birds do, but I'm assuming not applying the debuff, instead restoring energy to allies. I'm assuming DE is not going to mess up the numbers. I'm assuming the numbers are going to be fairly strong. So really it matters, do you want energy regen? Do you play Dante as a support? And do you want to keep Noctua on your build? If you're already a Noctua player, which a lot of people in my Dante guides comments were, I think this is going to be a pretty straight objective upgrade, especially if you have something like Energy Nexus. If you use Energy Nexus on your Dante build, which I actually do, Noctua Swarm will be a straight upgrade to that very likely, because not only does it give it to your whole team, which Energy Nexus obviously does not, but this will likely be a higher number than Energy Nexus, potentially scaling with power strength. So this is really good on the majority of Dante builds. However, I don't think that this augment is strong enough to pull any like Roar Dante users, which like is the main one, the main subsume that I can think of. But any other subsume on Dante, I don't think that Noctua Swarm is strong enough to pull those players away into a vanilla Dante kit. It's just not going to happen. So I like this augment a lot. I think it's obviously least interesting here, but it's definitely good and is a straight upgrade in like half of Dante players' loadouts, which is really solid. I like it a lot. Energy gain is always good. It's always very comfortable, and it really wraps up Dante's kit because as a support, energy regen was the main thing that he didn't offer, and now he offers it likely in droves due to this likely scaling with power strength. This is going to be really, really strong, and it's going to fit into builds super easily because again, if you use Energy Nexus, if you have any kind of energy econ mod, this just easily slides in, no problem. So next we have a Rhythm Guard for Temple. This isn't tied to any of their particular abilities, it just happens, it's basically a passive. You gain an amount of overguard when using an ability on the backbeat. That's like Temple's little thing in their crosshair, where if you hit the sweet spot, you basically get a bonus, you get bonus efficiency, and usually a bonus effect, which is usually pretty strong. The efficiency especially means you can spam cast quite a lot. The amount doubles up to an amount per beat, but resets if the beat is missed. So I'm assuming this isn't just a simple doubling, like in this case, X I don't think is 100, I don't think, or X being 100 doesn't mean that Y is 200. I'm assuming this is going to be able to double multiple times, also having that number scale with power strength. Rhythm Guard is completely and entirely at the mercy of the numbers that Digital Extremes gives it. This augment needs to be quite strong in my opinion. I think that Temple is really strong with Aegis and their shield synergies with Ripper's Wail, other sources of external DR if you decide to go that, like Null Star or whatever. Temple's already pretty durable, but if you give this frame a bunch of overguard that also interacts with the backbeat, which I think is really, really good design. I love the backbeat. It's one of like my favorite mechanics, you know, something that makes you think a little bit while you're playing the game. Then I think Rhythm Guard can be really, really strong. I hope even if they make the X number a little bit smaller, but they allow you to double it very frequently, I will be absolutely 100% taking this on Temple every single time. However, they do need to make the cap on Rhythm Guard quite strong. Just not being able to get knocked around, being immune to statuses. Again, not that Temple really has huge survivability issues in most of DE's intended content. They definitely don't. Ripper's Wail is amazing, and Temple kills a lot of shit really, really quickly, so it's not a huge issue. But Rhythm Guard is a piece of design that I love a ton. My only fear is the numbers that get backed behind it. This is definitely fairly interesting in terms of like the fact that you have to the backbeat and the fact that it just doubles over and over. It like kind of requires you to never miss the backbeat, which you want to kind of not do on Temple anyway, but you're not really punished on Temple. You're rewarded for hitting it, you're not really punished for missing it too hard. So in this case, you actually do have a punishment if you miss the backbeat. So, you know, freshen up your Guitar Hero skills, right? But I like this augment a lot, even though it's a little bit boring. It's the same veil like we've seen. I got its all numbers. We see Icy Avalanche, one of the best augments in the entire game. Healing Flames is complete and utter dog shit. So it's a matter of like, are the numbers going to be strong enough, especially if we're applying some sort of like punishment for messing the augment up. I hope the numbers here, they really do need to be strong. Overall, not super interesting, but definitely like a design space that I like a lot and something I like for Temple. And if the numbers are good, I will be running it every single time because I love being forced to really interact with Temple's kit and what they have going on. And then another quick massive point I totally forgot. The one thing that is really annoying about playing Temple, and the reason I don't play them as much as I really would like to, even though I like their aesthetic, is that spamming Ripper's Wail, even though it's reliable, even with 3 casting speed shards, I still don't enjoy doing it. Spamming Ripper's Wail for the invulnerability and for the full heal is not a very fun thing to have to do over and over. It's like shield gating with extra steps. Even though they're quite durable, at that higher level content, they need to spam Ripper's Wail a little more often. And so if this overguard number is substantial, that means that Temple can be more fun to play for a lot of players who wouldn't play them normally because they don't like the playstyle of spamming Ripper's Wail to survive. Koumei loading is a very, very, very interesting augment for Koumei, and I am a Koumei player, so I have a lot to say. Basically, this has you when you get 6 kills with a weapon affected by your passive, which is that rotating secondary encumber for free effect, basically. Just procs random statuses on hit with the weapon. You load a die every 6 kills, and those die can be expended only towards Koumei, and they basically guarantee a 6 roll on your passive, which is really, really good. This 666 effect on Koumei is having the threads apply every single elemental status effect in the game. This means that everything that uses condition overload, which is how a lot of weapons are achieving their damage caps, their high damage in general. Really strong. Mecha set can spread it, which you're going to use on Koumei anyway. Contagious bond, all that stuff. Your teammates get a lot of value out of it, right? And obviously, so do you. The only problem is most players aren't using Koumei, and so we're going to kind of talk about that. 18 kills, really, really easy condition to hit. You're already going to be doing that. Omokuji's Fortune already has you doing that with your passive, so this is not a real roadblock. This is just a buff. The main roadblock is, are you going to be using Koumei at all? Right now, Koumei's playstyle basically has you spamming, giving yourself arthritis on Koumei because it's the only real ability that uses your die properly. Omokuji and Omomori, they can't really be recasted much at all, and so you don't interact with the die all too much. It's just kind of a little lucky buff. It's something you can build around. And Buraku has a 3-second ICD, but also it's just its 666 effect isn't really that good in my opinion. So Koumei is the main one that you spam, and it's just not very good because its base effect sucks, but the 666 effect rocks, so you just have to spam your 1. What Koumei loading does is essentially has it so you don't have to spam your 1. Instead, you have to hit kills with your passive, which is something you're already doing really, really, really strong. Now, this does mean that Koumei is going to basically want to have, if you're going to play vanilla Koumei, you're going to need 2 augments. Now, Koumei doesn't really scale with mods very much, so this isn't too hard. Your main modding hump you're getting over on Koumei is going to be the shield gate plus Omomori combo. I have an evade build here that fits Koumei on no problem, which I'm really, really excited to use as augment in this build. One thing that I'm theorizing on, though, is this makes Koumei a reliable, insane primer, which means Bunraku, if you're not valuing the CC too much on Bunraku, or its ability to do finishers, on Koumei are in Vazarin, so the finishers aren't really an issue. This means that Bunraku might be the new helmet slot, and that means you have room for Precision Intensify, which in Aurora build is very, very potent. I'm curious to see it. Again, 18 kills, easy condition to hit. Bunraku is also a very easy ability to cast, and the CC is fairly valuable. So I don't know. Like, of the 4 Koumei players, if you could hit me up and to let me know what you think, I think that Bunraku might become the new helmet slot with this ability being in play. I can't say for sure, but I'm really, really excited for this augment. I think this augment has one of the most unique designs ever. It has a lot of potential for sure, but I don't know how it's going to fit into the build, and I can't say for sure how many players it's going to pull into playing vanilla Koumei. Or those players, again, might take the Bunraku strategy. I can't say for sure, but this effect is very strong. This augment is very unique. I love its design a lot, and it's going to make playing Koumei a lot more exciting. And if you want to play vanilla Koumei, this is basically going to enable you to do that with no problems. My only concern is Koumei's targeting being kind of weird, especially scaling with range. It's kind of a huge problem. It doesn't create more threads despite having increased range. But again, if you're using stuff like the mecha set already in Contagious Bond, it's probably not going to be a huge issue. So yeah, this one has a lot of potential, but I'm going to have to play with it before I can say for sure. And in my opinion, the absolute GOAT of augments this patch that I'm insanely excited for is Reroot Rampage, which has Nokko collecting his orbs to summon little sprawlings that inflict toxin damage and increased critical chance for each hit. So again, the damage, we do have the damage numbers here. They're like fine, but to be totally honest, I'm okay with him being on the weaker side. So the way that you play Nokko in his current state, in terms of full vanilla, is you spam your Stink Brains out for priming, get a Bright Bonnet down, you throw all 3 Spore Springs, let them bounce, and you sit and reroute to Crepuscular and sit around. The problem is, while you're in little guy form, you just kind of you sit there and whack off, and that's not really what I like. Some people like running around in little guy form, and that's awesome. But for me, that turns me off of this character really hard, to the point where I either run the I run my personal evade setup, which I love. I use the dual toxins with the gas build, that's really strong, or I'll just use the roar companion build with the invis, and that's super boring. So for me, playing Nokko is something I've wanted to do desperately, but haven't really been able to, because I like to use reroute, but I don't like to just sit there. It's a cute, fun ability, but now you're actually rewarded for collecting those orbs. Before, they just gave you movement speed and increased the healing that you do, which is good. Again, you're immortal anyway. But now the gameplay loop has become a lot more exciting, where reroute, which I think was meant to be a more active ability when it was created, ended up kind of not being one as much. Now it's a much more active ability, and you're always doing something on Nokko. Before, it was spell rotation, whack off, spell rotation, over and over and over. Now, while you're in the portion where you're sitting in reroute, you actually have a reason to jump around and create more Sprawlings and deal more toxin damage. This, to me, completes Nokko's kit entirely, and Nokko can easily give up the mod slot, in my opinion, to use it. So yeah, I guess you get to enjoy helmet-free Nokko now, which is super exciting. It's the cost of 1 augment, which is a little bit sad, but we'll see how it goes with the damage. 250 base damage, I don't know if that's horrendous. Math in Warframe is hard, but we also have critical chance increasing and stuff. So the more orbs you're able to collect, which again, I like when active gameplay is incentivized. And so this is probably the most exciting and the most kit completing, and just, in my opinion, the best augment that's going to be released out of the 4 here. And I'm going to be playing like a lot more Nokko because of this, because it just makes being a little guy a whole lot more incentivizing, a whole lot more fun, and a lot more rewarding in terms of actually being able to deal damage, be an active player, and have a reason to interact with reroute. I'm very, very excited for this augment. And yeah, that'll about wrap it up. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. It's just a quick bonus upload, nothing too crazy, no crazy effort or anything. Just wanted to share my thoughts on these augments. I think that they're generally actually way more exciting than the average batch of augments, and I think that DE is just getting better at frame design and augment design, and so I'm really excited to see what they come up with next. Leave it in the comments, you know, if you have some thoughts on some of these, you disagree, agree, have one that is your particular favorite, one you're really excited for, or what are some frames that you really feel need augments that don't have them quite yet. Drop in the comments, like, sub, hype, all that crap. Thank you guys so much for the love. Next video should be coming your way pretty soon, and I'll catch you on the flip. Peace.